Hello YTPC, glad to see you again. Welcome to your channel, Ma Pipe Smoking channel. I'm your host Arash, and today we are gonna talk to one of the most unique artisan pipe maker of our time, Sir Dirk Heinemann. He's a German pipe maker, and he has honored us with accepting to call and to interview with us. Let's see how it goes. All right. First and foremost, say hello to your people and talk a little bit about yourself. Who are you? How old are you? Where do you live? And what have you studied in university, if you ever had?
Hello, nice to meet you guys. I'm Dirk. I'm from Germany. I'm 46 years old, and I'm a pipe maker, or I try to be. I studied product design for 4 years at a local university. Before that, I learned woodworking and worked in a woodworking workshop for a few years. So I think those both things was a very good base to start pipe making from.
Talk a little bit about that product designing study. What is that?
Well, that's basically everything I use, like a cell phone, a car, or even a water bottle. I mean, everything that needs to be produced in a factory or like in a workshop needs to be designed. And it's quite interesting because not only the design, it's also the handling. Like if you have a water bottle, how can you hold it better than just another the
All
cylinder or
right.
something, something like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. All right, and the next question is, how did you come about pipe making and pipe smoking? You were first pipe smoker and then pipe maker. Am I right? As usual.
No, I made first my first pipe and then I started pipe smoking. Um,
Oh,
I never
really?
smoked like yeah, yeah. I never smoked like cigarette or anything before. I was a non-smoker before I started with pipes. But I found it always interesting. Like I read the Lord of the Rings books and watched the movies. My uncle was a pipe smoker, and I just like the idea to combine like woodworking and design and just create something you can actually use. So I just tried it and I loved it from the first step. So I kept doing it.
Oh, and before pipe making, did you ever build anything with wood?
Yes, like furniture making. I did some wood turning, but just as a hobby. But mostly furniture making. I worked as a professional furniture maker for a few years. We did like big projects for insurance companies, banks, or stuff like that.
Oh, all right, nice. And the next question is, who was or were your teachers? Did you ever had any apprenticeship with anybody, or you just self-studied?
Yeah, mostly like that. When I started, it was in 2006 when I made my first pipe. And so over the next few years,
2006, almost 20 years.
yeah,
You're making
but
pipes.
well, I didn't
Nice,
call
2 decades.
wouldn't call myself a pipe maker then because I just tried things out and make a few pipes a year, maybe 3, 4 pipes a year. So I would call that time my apprenticeship. And in 2011, I thought I was at the point where I can actually sell my work and be on the market. And I think I call myself a pipe maker since 2011. Before that, I was just a rookie who tried out what I can do. As
Of
for
course.
as for teachers, I haven't been like at someone's workshop and learned how to make a pipe, but there were online forums, and we had a German language-based pipe maker forum with a lot of newbies and rookies and experienced pipe makers, and we all exchanged our knowledge, and that was a really influential time
Nice.
for me. Also because there was a time when everybody was kind of tired of the traditional shapes, and we tried to do something new, like say, why must the pie look like a billiard? Why it just can't be looking totally different? And that was a big influence for my style and how to work and design a pipe.
And it is that obvious in your works.
Okay, thank you.
My next question was, when was your first pipe, and when was your first ever sold pipe? That you answered through your previous answer.
Okay,
so
I can show you my first pipe. I have it here actually.
Yes, of course. If you have it with you, we'll be glad.
So is this kind of I don't know, poker kind of shape. It has a pre-made stem. After that, I only made stems hand cut, but this was the first stamp.
What is it with poker shape? I've seen so many pipe makers started with poker. Is it easy to build, to make?
Well, yeah, maybe it has just a one straight bowl and a shank, which also not too difficult. Maybe it's a simplicity. It just appealed to me at that time. I did a lot of sketches without knowing what I'm doing. It just appealed to me at that time. Of course, it doesn't sit because I didn't know.
And is this really your first? It is much better than someone first.
Well, it's not really round, and you can see like the here is not really good, and the transition is also not very good, as you can see. But you know, I'm a woodworker and I'm a product designer. So one of the part of this of the study was when we designed something, we had to make it out of like model making foam or stuff like that. So I was kind of used to building small, precise things with my hands. So that was a big advantage to start with pipe making.
Nice. And was this a pre-drilled block, or you drilled by yourself?
I drilled by myself. I didn't have a actual drill. I just have some round drill bit which I used and tortured the wood with, but it worked.
Oh, nice. That was nice. That was much nicer that I imagined. All right. The next question is about the Battle of the Briar, the issue and the contest. How was that? I was watching that in YouTube.
Cool.
It was nice. It was so exciting for us as viewers, but I would guess that you were under immense pressure, weren't you?
Well, when I got the message from Jeff Allen, or Jeff Grashik, who does the organization of the Battle of the Briar, and I think it was his idea to ask me if I'm interested to be part of it at that year. I said, oh, no way. That's not my thing. I'm an introvert. I don't want to be in the public and in the center of attention. But on the same second, I thought, yeah, I would be stupid not to do it, because it's the best publicity I can get, even if I don't win or just be there.
Course.
So yeah, of course, I said, sure, I'm in. And actually, I've been to Chicago the year before and watched the first Battle of the Briar. And after that, one of the guys from the pipe show asked me just as a joke, so you're in for next year? And I said, yeah, sure. But I thought the whole year, what would I do if I ever be part of the Battle of the Briar? Sure. So I actually had a strategy already, what I would do, what kind of shape I would do. So I was lucky enough to be able to choose the first block. We had like 5 blocks, and we have got chosen who can choose the first block. So I was lucky to get a block which I can use. So I had some ideas like keep the plateau on the briar, so you can save some time in that part and stuff like that. So that helped me a lot. But when I started shaping the pipe, I thought I was fast, but then watching to my friends who was doing the competition with me, and they were already buffing and staining, and I was just still as rough shaping and saying, oh, I'm so slow, I will never be in time. But I guess I caught up at some moment later. So, but people told me I look very relaxed, but I was not relaxed for 1 second. I was just so
that was what I wanted to say. You looked very relaxed. You looked very
okay.
Yeah, you looked performing like nothing happening. and
No, it was
it was strange for me,
yeah.
and I was thinking he's under immense pressure. How he's doing that? But
It just looked like that.
as you're describing it, you were not that cool.
No, but I'm glad it turned out like that. But no, well, it was still a lot of fun because
It did turn out very beautiful. That squat tomato was beautiful.
Thank you.
I would have bought that. I would have bought that for sure.
Awesome. Thank you.
And that incident with David Huber, that broken
Yes.
tenon was
That was
a
crazy.
drama. I
Actually,
was stunned when the tenon broke off.
I didn't really notice at the moment because I was just so focused on my work. I just noticed something's going on there, and then I just next moment I saw people trying with a screwdriver to get out that stem. It was just crazy. But well, he did a really he did a poker high.
He did great.
Yeah, he did great, and his idea was to do a stained blowfish, and it was really ambitious. And I respect that he actually tried that. So yeah, he did pretty good for what he planned to do.
And all these happening in 2024, 2023,
24, yeah, last year, yeah.
Last year.
Yeah.
All right, 2024. And it was you, David S. Huber, and the third one was
Pete Prevost.
Pete Prevost.
Yeah.
Pete Prevost. All right. And as people you most probably know, David was the winner of the contest, and his pipe got you got just 1 point more, I think, as I remember.
I never saw
the
the
second
points.
one.
Never saw the point actually, but so I got the contest. David got the best bidding, I think, and Pete got the best public choice. I think was like that.
Oh, nice. And did you sell that?
It was was auctioned the next day at the pipe show.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And was it sell?
Yeah, it's sold to one of the guys who does the pipe show. Hassan, I'm not sure if you know him. He's from the Chicago Pipe Club. Very nice guy, and he bought it.
Yeah, I know him. Very nice guy.
He is, yeah.
He's Arab, I think. His name
I think
is
so, yeah.
Arab, Hassan, or maybe Iranian, I don't know. We have Hassan in Iran.
Yeah, I'm not sure where he actually is from, but he moved to Chicago as a teenager, I think he told me. Yeah, to Chicago.
Right. Just as a curious question, what are you smoking and what are you smoking it in? That pipe looked nice.
Pipe? Yeah.
Is it yours?
No, it's made by Bonsai Pipes, Tobias Höse, you know him? Bonsai, like
no, I don't.
You like the bonsai trees? You know the Japanese bonsai trees?
Yes, I don't.
Yeah,
I
okay.
know the bonsai concept.
Yeah, so that's his name because he's a bonsai collector and bonsai enthusiast. So that's
nice.
why he called his brand Bonsai Pipes. And it's a nice flat
beautiful.
Rhodesian.
Is it Dublin?
No, this is just very short saddle and long stems. There's no adornment on it.
No, I said, is it Dublin or? No, it is a bull cap.
Maybe a bull cap or Rhodesian, something like that. Something in the area.
That is nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The last question about the Battle of the Briar. Will you ever consider participating in it again?
Well, if you would have asked me right after the first battle,
did you enjoy it?
Yeah. Well, if you asked me right after the actual Battle of the Briar, I would have said no.
Of course, the answer is no.
No, but now I say it maybe.
Of course, the answer is no.
Yeah, maybe it was fun.
All right.
And yeah.
It was for us as viewers. It was very fun. It was
a great
very
idea,
exciting, and we enjoyed watching that. Really, we enjoyed. You know that the whole idea is very beautiful. I think
I think so too.
The whole contest is really beautiful, and it's unique. That Jeff has did us a very big favor to design it and
right. Yeah.
And to set all those gears and machines, and it is tremendously hard, and it is really appreciated, by every people all around the world. As I was scrolling through your Instagram page, you make so many unique pipes. We will talk about them for sure. But do you make any classic shapes as well?
Sometimes. Well, for a long time I didn't, but after for the last maybe 3, 4 years, I make them sometimes, and I enjoy them more and more because it's challenging on a different way than blowfish, for example. Um, Actually, I just started one the other day, like a little billiard or lovat, I guess. It's not finished yet, of course, with the stem and everything. And I got another one. I have to go to my case here. And a sandblasted Novat with the elforine, like fox ivory or like fake ivory stem. There's a nice texture, which you probably can't see on the video. It's very subtle, but yeah.
In each and every pipe you're showing, if you ever wanted us to see the details, you can send us the pictures of them.
Okay,
we will put them in the video as we are editing it. But do you think it is essential for a pipe maker to make some classic first?
I don't, to be honest. I think it's essential to really study a shape. Not just make a shape and then move on. If you're making a new shape, you should study it and make it at least 4 times. I think the same shape in a row to really understand it. To make classics is one way, a really good way to understand how proportions work, how details like a millimeter here or a millimeter there make a big difference, or if you make the straight or slightly curved or even more curved. This is very difficult. What I think the danger in this is, looks, it's easy to make a billiard. It's very hard to make a good billiard. And many people probably would just, make a billiard and then say, oh, that's nice, and then move on, and probably wouldn't really study and see. If you make a shitty blowfish, you see it immediately. If you make a okay billiard, you still think, yeah, that's fine. So you have to really push yourself to keep on making that billiard and getting better and better. Study the O'Donnell catalogs or the masters of make really good billiards. If you don't do it, it doesn't matter,
I got you, but I myself don't know any other way but making some classic. How was your travel through the pipe making travel? How did you made such beautiful pipes without making so many classic? How did you master the lines and the angles and the curves?
Well, I think my background in product design helped me a lot because we did like 4 months in the class just drawing lines and study like car design. It's like, automobile design is very good for studying if you want to learn how proportions, lines, and intersections work. That was a big help. And one of the earlier shapes I made a lot was the like Bon Nord rotation. The very curved one. Geiger makes them too in Sweden. That's the kind of shape. And I did a lot of them for 1 year because they were very popular and many people commissioned them. So I think making those shapes a lot over and over again helped me a lot to understand how curves work. And also the time, if you know my shape, the rain bug, if you know this one.
Okay.
So this is much different than from the first time I make this shape. So even for me, if I make a new shape, it takes some time to really understand it and to get better and better. So I wouldn't say all my shapes are not good.
So your university studies has helped you a lot.
Yeah,
for
sure.
someone that hasn't studied those, is it even possible without making classic shapes to be a good pipe maker?
Absolutely, for sure. You probably need some talent or interest in designing. For example, if you're not sure if you know aware with Christian Woods, the Austrian pipe maker. So he's a good friend of mine. So he makes this shape. It's a broken Gaia is the name. So it's very beautiful.
Beautiful it is.
Yes, and
Very beautiful.
he is by trade an electrician. He never had any artisan education, background. Yeah. So, but if you see his work, he's so good with lines and with proportions and details. And so, not sure where it comes from, but it is possible if you're just talented or push yourself and try to look at your work and say, yeah, that's good, but I can do better. That probably helps a lot.
And he's the maker of that yin and yang pipes. Yes, am I right?
Which one?
He made some the maker of the last pipe that you showed us. He made a yin and yang two pipes. I saw the picture on the cover of a magazine. It was called yin and yang, I think.
It could be. I'm not sure.
Two opposite color. They were the same shape but two opposite color.
Yeah.
Which they were placed in a yin and yang figure, like.
It's possible. I'm not so sure actually, but it could be. It sounds like something he would do, for sure.
All right. And the idea of separating, putting some wood on the stem and separating by a gap, it is really beautiful.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, me
very
too.
Very unique and creative. I think it's a theme in his work. I think theme, better to say. All right. The next question is, what is the source of your inspiration, or who is the source of your inspiration, or what is school of pipe making? I don't know.
Yeah.
Where do you get your inspiration of?
Well, if I'd say school of piping is definitely the Danish piping school, like the light curve shanks, which I like a lot, and I try to include to most of my shapes. If they have a shank, not all of my pipes have a shank. But apart from that, I got inspirations from nature, like the grain bug I showed you before, which looks like a bug, or architecture or design. I have a pipe shape called the Architect, which is inspired by Zaha Hadid, the architect.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you know her. And
yeah, of course.
Of course. Also, recently I made a shape which is inspired by Antoni Gaudí, the Spanish architect, and he used hanging a chain for construction reasons to find out the right arc. So I like that. So I made this shape as an inspiration for the hanging chain.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so this is like inspired by an architect, or like a technique used by an architect.
Nice. Zaha Hadid has passed away. Yeah, am I right? Or she's alive?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
She has passed.
Yeah. Yeah, not a long
she
time
was
ago.
A brilliant architecture. You answered this one as well somehow in your previous answers. How much does your university education play a role in your pipe making? It does a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
It seems.
It also helps, like, when I try to think about a new shape before I started actually, shaping at the Briar block. I do a lot of sketches, and I learned during my study to you have one shape, for example, I don't know, a water bottle, if you use that example again, and you draw one design and you think, oh, that looks good. But then you force yourself to draw it over and over and over again, like 50 times or 100 times, whatever. And then later you see, oh, the first one wasn't really that good. I just was lazy and thought that's great. But just repeat yourself on drawing and explore shapes just with a pencil and a piece of paper. That helps me a lot to really get the first step. And then I put it into 3D with a block of Briar. And that's a totally different story, because sometimes something you draw in 2D doesn't really work as 3D. So that's a really interesting progress, which I have to go back sometimes a lot.
That was nice.
Yep.
That was weird. Because I'm not a pipe maker, I haven't experienced that. But it seems you believe it is essential to make pipe on the paper first. don't you?
Yeah, most of the time, if I do like a new shape, which I do the first time, or I want to do a new variation of a existing shape, I do a lot of sketching. Because that's what I like, and also what I learned. A shape I have done like the door shape, if you know that shape, the door with the white stem.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
That is one of your iconic shapes.
Right.
I love that.
So I don't need to draw that anymore because that is my mind. So I can shape it with my eyes closed almost. But some new shapes, like for example, like a Lovat, I have to draw a lot because I'm not familiar with this kind of shape.
All right. This one just occurred to me like right now. Have you ever started a pipe without sketching and just putting the block on the French disc and making something? Have you ever had that?
I do that too very often. That I just grab a few blocks from my storage, put it in my workshop, and make me some coffee, light a pipe, and then start drawing. And sometimes if I have an idea of a pipe shape and I find the right block for that, sometimes I just look at the block and listen to the block, what he's telling me.
Oh, nice.
What could be like reading the grain, where could
following
it go to?
The grains?
Follow the grain, yes. And yeah, sometimes I just start shaping and see where the travel is going to.
Nice. That's those pipes are going to be unique when you're just following the grains and listening to the nature of the block.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to some deeper question. How do you define an artisan pipe maker? Do you define yourself as an artisan pipe maker?
Yeah, I think so. And yeah, how to find it? Probably if you think a lot about the shape itself, like you just you don't just repeat the same shape over and over again, but you question the shape and try to find some new angle. It could be even like a billiard and make a billiard slightly different. It could still be an artisan pipe. It doesn't have to be something crazy. But yeah, I think as long as you question some existing shapes or rules and try to find a new way for yourself, I think that could be a definition of an artisan pipe maker.
It seems to be. The next question is, how much of pipe making is technique and how much is creativity and art?
Good question. Yeah, probably 50-50 because a pipe with a bad technique.
50-50?
I think so. Yeah, I mean you have to have a good drilling and mouthpiece. It should be good. Otherwise, you don't have a really pipe which smokes good. Or maybe even more, maybe 70-30, because
of course, I was predicting that answer, that the second one,
because
a big portion of it is really being a good with your hands and with your technique.
Right. Yeah. So yeah. So the technique is important, and the design or the artisan part is it's not important for smoking experience, but it's for the aesthetic experiences. So if you're like a collector of more artisan pipe, I guess you care more or the same amount for the aesthetics. But if you're more like you like technique more and the pipe is more like a tobacco using machine, then you probably don't care so much about the design as other people, which is not wrong. It's just different,
of course,
ways.
Different approach.
Pipe rack for pipe side. Working on at the moment. Takes a little bit longer to understand how a good shape works if you don't have the artistic background. Some view of the farm where my family lives since 1888. The thing is, when you start making pipes, you do it for a while and you just make what yourself think is beautiful. You of course you study other pipes and you try to copy them in to learn how to make a pipe and what shapes work and how a shape work. And at some point you just make a shape in your style without even noticing it. And very often it happens that some collectors say, oh yeah, that's definitely one of your pipes.